My name is Meg, and in this video I'm going to talk about teaching oboe embouchure. The metaphor that I like to give when teaching students how to set up their oboe embouchure is closing a drawstring bag. That way, students are picturing their lips wrapping around the reed rather than pressing down against the reed. I avoid telling students to fold their lips over their teeth or anything like that because I've found that when I do tell them that, it causes a lot of tension, which translates to them pressing down or biting down on the reed. This can make it very difficult for students to get air through the reed, and if they do get air through the reed, the sound that they produce is usually sharp. Here's the method that I use when I teach students oboe embouchure. This clip is from the student video number 4. Go ahead and grab your reed and make sure you're holding it either by the cork or by the thread. Now hold it up and see if you can find the upside down V at the tip. This is the part of the reed that you're going to place on your lip to start forming your embouchure. We're going to place the reed on our bottom lip, being very careful not to let it touch our teeth. You can see that the reed is not touching my teeth at all. The next thing you're going to do is bring your lips around the reed like you're closing a drawstring bag. Your tongue is going to help start the sound. So you're going to use the tip of your tongue to hit the tip of the reed. But we don't want to hit the very tip of the reed, and we especially don't want to hit the reed straight on because the tip is very thin and fragile. So you're going to hit the reed just below the tip. If you look again at the cane, you're going to hit the point of that upside down V. You're going to use the tip of your tongue, and this is what it will look like when you're hitting the reed. So the tip of your tongue will help to start the sound. The placement of the rest of your tongue is also important because it will affect the sound of your instrument. So we're going to try moving the rest of our tongue around. First, we're going to say the sound E. Now when I do that, you can see inside my mouth, E, that the back of my tongue is high and actually might be touching my teeth. E. Go ahead and try that with me now. E. And think about where the back of your tongue is. E, E, E. Now we're going to say a different sound and pay attention to where our tongue is. The sound is ah. You can probably already see that my tongue is much lower, and actually my jaw comes down a little bit when I say ah. Ah, ah. Go ahead and do that with me and pay attention to where the back of your tongue is. Ah, ah. Now say E and then ah, and feel the difference between them. E, ah. E, ah. When we play the oboe and when we form our embouchure, we're going to use that ah sound to get the back of our tongue lowered and more space in our mouth. Now let's put it all together. We'll put the reed on our bottom lip, form our embouchure around it. Pay attention to the tip of your tongue and where it's going to touch the reed, and the back of your tongue with that ah sound. Let's give it a try. Great. The last thing we need to do in order to get sound is to blow air through the reed. Now we have to be very careful that we don't change anything that we've already set up when we blow air. It's very easy to let this go and let air puff into your cheeks, but we don't want to let that happen. So I'll show you what it looks like when I blow air into my reed. Now watch my embouchure because it's not going to change. So I'm making sure that I'm drawing my lips around the reed and I'm not letting any of this loosen so that my air goes directly into my reed and not out into my cheeks. Go ahead and try that with me. Great job. Now we're going to practice tonguing and starting that sound with our tongue. Remember, the tip of your tongue is going to hit about here, that point of the upside down V at the tip of your reed. Let's give it a try. If it's hard to figure out if you're doing it correctly, imagine that you have something on the tip of your tongue that you're trying to spit off. Take the reed away for a moment and practice just spitting something off the tip of your tongue. Now let's go back to the reed and give it a try. Great job. The sound that the reed makes by itself is called a crow. It is a little funny sounding, and it's different from how the entire oboe will sound when you put the reed into the instrument. If your reed is difficult to blow into, keep trying. This is a brand new thing that you're asking your body to do, and it will take some practice. Always make sure that you have soaked your reed before in order to get the best sound out. If you are trying and trying and trying and you still can't get sound out of your reed, make sure you ask your teacher and have them look at your reed. Thanks so much for watching. Happy teaching!